Ascent Talk, bringing future technology.
Welcome to another episode of Ascent Talk. Today we have three key executive leaders who are the driving force behind Accentura. We are going to talk about insurance industry and some key technologies behind insurance industry and what type of solutions Accentura offers and how they have strategized this vertical, the business vertical of insurance.
Ascent Talk.
With that introduction, let's move into our first gentleman, Mr. Varuna De Silva. Welcome to the show, Mr. Varuna, and tell us, what is your role in Accenture?
I'm the Director of Practices and Partnerships. Practices and Partnership is a strategic role in our organization which is targeted to sustainability and growth. So if you look at the industry as a whole, software service industry, you can see it's commoditizing very rapidly. So if you are into commoditized services, your growth will be limited. So we need to, as a software service industry, we need to identify where we can, adding a lot of value. That's where the growth exists and the sustainability exists. So my role is pretty much like identify the right area where we have to tap in and where we can adding value to our end customers. So if you look at today's context in industry, so you can see the digital transformation. Digital transformation is no longer a buzzword. Every customer, every enterprise going through a digital transformation in a different version. So we can help them to really expedite their services in terms of their digital transformation journey. That's where we can add a lot of value. So that's my role. So if you look at the whole aspect of interactive mobility, analytics, cloud or security, those are the areas that we have to really pivot into our business practices so that we can add in a lot of values, so that we can give the right alignment with our customer focus.
Within the practice role, we have seen that partnering or the partnership plays a very vital role, right? So why partnerships and what is important and how do you keep partnering and expanding your horizons?
Right. Partnership role, again, it's aligned with the growth. If you look at in today's context, so we can't build our growth by ourselves. We need to have partners across the globe where we can tap different markets. Right? If you look at North America to APAC region, Europe, multiple regions that we have identified. That's the key. It's my role to identify the right partnership and work with them to tapping to new market and basically spread our capabilities, bring our capabilities to their regions and basically get newer businesses, tackle newer businesses there. And that's one part of the partnership. The other part of the partnership is so if you look at the industry, you can see there are a lot of products coming up. Like for example, Appian per se, there Tricentic, Tosca, those are the partners that we have already recent past that we have contracted signed with them. So those are the very they have created a very traction in the market. So our target is to really basically working with them to get the services, working their services from us as Accentura.
Let's move into our next gentleman, Mr. Ajit Kodithuakku. Welcome to the show, Mr. Kodithuakku. Tell us about your role in Accentura.
I'm Ajit Kodithuakku, Director of Technology in Accentura. My main responsibility as Director Technology is defining and implementing the technical roadmap for Accentura. Technology is emerging very rapidly. Prasanna, years ago it was cloud. but now it's digital. We keep our radar tuned on and work hard to stay up to date.
And also, how is Accenture launches new practices?
Well, let's take Appian as an example. It's a fast-growing, low-code automation platform. Appian can build applications 10 times faster, and it reduces 50% of the maintenance cost compared to traditional development. We wanted Appian developers for one of our Canadian projects. Unfortunately, Appian is a rare breed within the Sri Lankan market. How we overcome this situation? We identified that individuals who are good in BPM, we can easily convert it into Appian developers. Our training platform actually very useful in this journey.
It's actually, you are talking about the upskilling and reskilling, right?
Yeah, so upskilling and reskilling is very essential within our organization. All the individuals in our organization, we have a clear roadmap. All the individuals in our organization, we are planning to move them as T-professionals. As the initial stage, we wanted to upskill and reskill our traditional developers into full stack developers. You know, Prasanna, you can't force individuals to learn, especially the individuals who are having busy schedule. We created this learning culture and supported learning on the job. In order to do this, I think this is the secret behind our success.
So let me ask another one question. So what type of barriers you face when you are, okay, let's see, like upskilling, I think it's easier than reskilling. But if you tend to reskill, so it's totally a different transformation of the individuals. What type of barriers you face when you are reskilling?
Willingness and eventually passion should come from organically. So that's the main barrier we had, especially with their tight schedule. We had a very challenging time converting them into different skill set and upskill. So we create a platform where everybody can participate and enjoy their learning.
Right. With that, we move into our next gentleman, Mr. Niroshan Landers. Right. Mr. Varuna De Silva is talking about he's looking at the practices, while Mr. Ajit Kodithok is looking at the technical aspect of the solution. So, what is your speciality, or what is your key role within the organization?
Yeah, Prasanna, first, it's been a great pleasure to have my classmate and university batchmate hosting this show. So, Prasanna, as the
actually we're meeting as a host and in this role, I think after 24 years.
Absolutely. Right. So, as the director for client services at Accenture, my main role is to provide the necessary services for our clients who are current clients, as well as the potential clients who would engage with us in future. So as a role, I'm responsible to look after the client's needs, understand their business potential, and keep my clients in an advantageous position in their business scope. So I need to make sure that whatever the solutions that I provide them should be giving them the advantage in their business scope, and ensure that our practices and the technology provide me the right inputs to give a absolute solution for them to get the best ROI for the investment what they are doing. And in addition, whenever we are giving a solution, yes, we do stay with the latest technology trends. We do provide futuristic solutions, but at the same time, we need to wear the hat of our end clients, the client's client, and understand what best that we can give to them. and how we can keep them glued to their clients and ensure that they have a high exit cost, so that our organization's solution gives them the right return for the investment what they are doing, and they'll continuously get more business.
Yes, it's very clear about your role. And to elaborate that, can you explain us how do you engage with the clients?
Yeah, so Prasanna, I think from a client services perspective, we need to make sure that our engagement is maintained horizontally and vertically. So all the people or the professionals who we deploy in our client needs will engage with their client team members as a part of their team member. And at the same time, we create a similar organization structure within Accentura to keep a relationship with all the necessary department heads to get the clear view about the problems, about the process, about the futuristic plans what our clients have. And that has ensured us that we understand our clients' problem and we hear what our clients ask from us. Like, there's a big difference between what the real problem versus how they interpret and ask a solution. And at the same time, it gives us the opportunity to do a root level analysis about their strengths and their potential to give a better solution, to create a customized solution that will give them the right phase to go ahead with their implementation of whatever the practical problems what they're facing.
Business environments are changing always. It's very dynamic. And also the demand from the customers and demand from the industries also change. Right? So what are the current business opportunities available in the insurance industry, and how do you align your practices to cater into this demand?
Right. Well, let me start off with industry outlook in insurance first. So if you look at the industry as a whole, the large the market size of general insurance alone is 6.1 trillion US dollar business. So if you look at that is estimated for 2020. The forecasted the growth expected in 2025 is 7.5 trillion US dollars. So compound annual growth rate is 3% in the general insurance alone. So whereas InsurTech industry market size projected the estimated was 2 billion US dollars. The compound annual growth rate is projected was 50%. That's a clear fact that how much digital technology changing the way that insurance operate today.
That means like the technological, they are moving rapidly into the technological changes, right? That 50% growth.
That is from the statistics front. If you, I mean, our experience with the insurance customers that we are working with, so we can see the tremendous, significant competitive advantage that they are enjoying right now. So they were able to reduce the cost drastically. So they were able to really get the maximum customer success in terms of like the satisfaction, customer satisfaction. They have improved a lot. So at the same time, so if you look at the productivity and all basically align with this digital transformation, that's what that's our experience with industry customers that we are dealing with.
Like we were discussing about the digital transformation and how we are aligned with the demand. And tell us like what type of offerings in this digital journey you have for your customers.
Right, that's a good question. So if you look at industry workflow, so the today's demand is, if you look at into different need, the demand, we are talking about convenience, agility, and personalization. So with that context, one of the area that we have to work on as a practice, as we need to understand what is the demand from industry, is that customer centricity. That is what the highest priority at this moment, what I have think of it. So if you look at the need, the individual behaviors, individual risk factors, that all fact together, if we can offer a personalized solution for your end customers, so that would be the highest achievement that industry can, the insurance industry vendor can achieve. So we are basically bringing our capabilities. We are basically align our all digital transformation technologies align with this customer centricity. So that's number one. Number two is intelligent processes. Intelligent processes, pretty much like if you look at the big data, advanced analytics, if you put those together, you can create a greater value, and that's going to be the differentiator for an insurance organization. That's what they can use for starting from client onboarding to underwriting to how they have operate the claims, and administrative, sales, every aspect of the game that they can use that intelligent processes with big data and analytics. That is what another offering that we basically pursue, that we wanted to really go with the go to market with that perspective. That's number two. Number three, of course, is like open ecosystem. So even industry, they can't survive in silos. They have to work collaboratively with all the other institutions. So it could be banking, it could be a leasing company, it could be some other organizations like in the shipping line, all that. They need to have a collaborate, like they have to have an ecosystem around their insurance. That's what we have to really leveraging ourselves to build capabilities of our insurance customers. So that's one area that we want to, we are really pursuing in our front. Not only that, so one of the other critical perspective that we have to looking into is the security. Security, of course, like with being digital, there will be a lot of challenges in the security front. So we actually pursuing a lot of avenues. We are bringing our capabilities, we are building our capabilities to serve our customers, how they can protect their systems in terms of digital elements during the digital transformation exercise. Those are the key areas that I want to emphasize here. So in this all perspective, we can bring, like when the digital transformation bringing to a traditional insurer, they can still competitive with this whole digital ecosystem. So that's what the core objectives.
So we got a very good insights from Varuna, how they are matching their services into this demand. So with that service mapping, what are the key technology drivers in the current insurance industry you see?
Did you know, Prasanna, that world is creating roughly 2.5 quintillion bytes of data every day? According to experts, if you write those data into Blu-ray discs and file them up, it's equal to 4 times of the height of the Eiffel Tower. Interesting. So data is playing a crucial role in the digital transformation journey, especially in predictive analytics. Most of the insurance companies, they are using predictive analytics to understand their customers' behavior and predict their customers. They are using a lot of IoT devices in order to collect those data. For example, motor insurance. They can fix telematics into their customer's vehicle. Using those devices, we can collect your speed, location, driving pattern, even accidents. So most of the insurance companies nowadays, they are using predictive analytics more than ever. For example, pricing and product optimization, especially when you want to attract new customers. Identifying the fraud, very interesting. Claim processing. For example, you can using IoT devices, you can collect data, and by doing the image processing, you can automate the claim process likewise. So that's why Accenture is paying a higher attention to this predictive analytics and working closely with our customers to reach their goals.
It's very interesting how the insurance industry is shaping up. Right? For example, by predicting the behavior of the drivers, even they can adjust the next premium of the insurance as well, whether it's a reckless driver or whatsoever. And apart from these, what are the other key drivers in the industry you see?
Well, let's take RPA, Robotic Process Automation Tool. We can fully or partially automate human activities such as manual work, rule-based activities, repetitive activities by using RPA. According to experts, around 25% of the capacity can be freed up by successfully implementing a RPA solution at the enterprise level. We can automate such as data entry process, standard transactions, or even we can respond to a small customer query by using RPA. Even in the insurance industry, RPA is using heavily. Claim processing, registration, policy cancellation, underwriting, there are many use cases. That's why Accenture is paying more attention to this area and try to work hand to hand with our customer always to achieve their goals.
Right. Now we know, Niroshan, your role is actually adding value to the customers, right? In this context, how do you engage with the clients to transfer these practices and the technology to benefit the client?
Yeah, good question, Prasanna. I think the insurance industry usually falls under the financial domain. So once they bring in IT into this insurance, we call it fintech or financial technical, which is again for the same business category: banks, financial applications, capital markets, and microfinance institutes comes in. So if you look at insurance industry, 2-3 years ago, a person would take about a good couple of days to get a insurance quote getting into the system, right? But now they need multiple quotes from different vendors. They need their insurance done today, and whenever they face the unfortunate incident, they need their claims done at So at the same time, they integrate their payment instruments to the systems, like their credit cards to their bank details to their mobile applications, everything, e-wallets, everything to the systems. And they need a secure platform to communicate with all these applications. At the same time, they should be able to access it while they are in public transit, while on a flight, and even now while on space. And they should be able to access all these applications and solutions instantly in a secured, fast, optimized manner. So by looking at all these practical problems, and at the same time the sensitivity that financial domain has related to the political and other aspects, our solutions should meet those additional aspects. So we propose 3 models for our clients, mainly scope-based engagements, then retainer engagements, and staff augmented engagements. I'll explain each to a certain extent. On a scope-based engagement, our team engage with the client to understand their real problems, carve out a part of the problem, and take the ownership and responsibility to deliver a solution to that. And it is a very loosely coupled engagement with the client, and client's involvement is limited to providing us the necessary inputs.
It's not a holistic one. You take a part of that and give a solution.
Yes, take a part of their problem and provide a solution. So to do that, our engagement, our management will go in, leadership will go in and sit with their necessary stakeholders, understand the business problem, and take it as a separate engagement for us. We are responsible to provide the workspace. We are responsible to find the right people to develop this solution, quality delivery, everything is our responsibility. Client basically is responsible only to look at the acceptance and take the product to their production. On the other hand, we have this retainer model where certain number of guaranteed people are being deployed at client engagements. This is very important for the organizations where they need multi-talented people, and if you hire 100 people who have different talents, their costs will increase and they may not be able to properly utilize the people, and the people will start moving out from those organizations because of lack of experience what they're getting. But when they engage with a company like Accenture, we have a pool of resources and we have a lot of partnerships that we have created with the organizations which have specific skills in the industry, and that allows us to quickly switch the people but retain a steady workforce for our clients. And the third model, which is the staff augmentation, is where we identify a particular person who has the required skills where our clients are demanding and deploying him at a client site for a particular engagement for a particular time period. And after that, we take the person back. So those are the three main models what we usually offer to our insurance and financial domain clients.
So you clearly mentioned three models. So out of three models, how do you define what is the fitting model for the particular customer?
Yeah, actually that is a coordinated analysis what we do by looking at the client's problem and even discussing with their leadership of how they wanted to take their organization to the next generation, right? Say for an example, if the organization is not, their IT department is not their core business, but they are giving a support service, or they don't have the necessary capability or the maturity to develop an application, it is ideal for them to scope out the program and give it to an expert to deliver their product. And there are certain organizations where they have an identified workload. It is pretty much steady throughout the time period. Their budgets are well known. But as I told you, they need multi-talented people at different stages in their program. And keeping all these multi-talented people as a single entity is not the practical way to that organization. It is not cost effective. So in that kind of a situation, we propose this retainer model, where we ensure a certain number of people are being maintained throughout a time period. For the organizations where their demands are fluctuating very rapidly, like they need to provide a solution in 2 months time period and they need a large number of team members to do that deployment, or they get the budgets based on how they do the sales and they will look for the next one, or they have a very high competitive market among their business scope. Those are the organizations which will come to us asking for the staff augmentations, because we deploy a particular set of group to provide a particular solution, bring them back, and they are pretty much done with that. The catch in that is they have a higher what you call involvement when they go with the staff augmentation, because they have to maintain the task allocations, they have to look after the progress or the performance of the individuals, they have to take care about the risks, and at the same time they have to provide the necessary workspace and infrastructure for them to work. When you go with the retainer model, it will become the model where both parties take a certain responsibility. We look at the process, we suggest certain improvements to the process, we take care about resourcing, we take care about performance management to a certain degree. But when it comes to the scope based engagements, pretty much it becomes Accentura's responsibility to allocate the task, to look after the resources, to do their performance management and ensure that a product goes to the client with the right quality at the right time, specifically with the right cost, because otherwise we will not be able to do the business, but clients will go a long journey.
So in this journey, like how do you do the cost benefit analysis? You do it and give it to the client, or you do along with the client and do it?
Yeah, actually Prasanna, when a client comes to us for a solution, he comes to us with a problem in his mind, because he is either facing a threat from their core competitors, or they wanted something to give to their clients. And at that time, if our practice and technology provides a solution, for the demand what our client is asking, definitely it will take a certain time period to implement it and deploy it in the production, and at that time it might be outdated solution because all the other people might have already done that, because they come once they see the problem, and if we are simply giving a solution for that problem, at the time when it goes to the production they will have a different problem, right? So if we provide a solution with the next gen, right, again I don't believe that it is the right solution, because they will be in a similar position compared to other competitors, because they also will see the problem, they also will provide the next gen solution. Our solution is to give them the third gen solution, so that at the time when it goes to the production,
2 generations ahead.
they are 1 generation ahead, right?
Yes.
But they are pretty much ahead of their competitors, right?
In implementing, it's 1 generation ahead.
Ahead, that's right. And that will give them the right cost benefit, because their end clients will be loyal to the client, and they have their right ROI for each dollar that they are spending, and at the same time their exit cost would be little higher, so they will continuously engage with our clients.
So we were talking about the business models and how to map this business model to demands and many things. Let me ask this question, Varun. What is your current involvement in the insurance domain?
Well, Prasanna, now in the today's context, insurance segment is the second largest portfolio that we are bringing in revenue into our organization. So we have been working on this segment for last 3+ years, and with multiple customers, like starting from high-end customers in terms of like global industry leaders, and also like the customers who are very local agents where they want to build their co-insurance platforms and so forth. So in this engagements, I mean, we have worked on multiple phases of the insurance life cycle, starting from again the underwriting, even the customer onboarding, and sales and quoting, and of course like the administrative parts, claim processing, and all that. We basically present ourselves in all these perspective, all these contribution in each of these spaces.
I know there are some very success stories also Accenture having with some global giants. So explain a bit of that success stories to us.
Well, Prasanna, so one of the key ongoing initiatives right now with Accenture is that we are working with a leading global industry leader who acquired insurance company here locally. So the main challenge that they have faced was like they want to localize their product into the local market, where starting from the predictable application again, and how you have cater for our audience, like how our scope, and maintain the applicability, like how you can fit into our audience, and we actually give our experience, our industry experience to engage to that and contribute successfully. As a part of this engagement, what we have done was like as mentioned earlier, like it's important to any insurance customer is to maintain. It's important to have the ecosystem. So one of the initiatives that we have worked with them was like building the integration with all the other necessary business units in terms of like banking, finance institute, the leasing companies, the other broker agents. Likewise, that's one of the other initiative. The third one, of course, like we have also worked on building completing their digital user journey to fill certain gaps. Like we have contributed to make certain development, certain other process improvement and stuff like that on that perspective.
In this, what are the key product development you have engaged with clients?
Right. So in that particular engagement itself, we have contributed to 2 key products. One is eMotor, and where they want to manage the process, and basically that process interact with their agents. So other key application that we have used was we have contributed was that the eMarine applications, where they have given this to their shipping agents, so they can create the generate the policies on behalf of the client. So those are the three contribution in terms of the product engagements is concerned.
Right. Moving into you again, Mr. Landers, how successful this model at present, and what were the benefit?
Okay, so I think the success should be looked at from different angles, and we can see it from multiple ways where the success is. Accenture as an organization is new kid in this IT industry, but we have a history of about 7 years. And up to now, all our clients who engage with us initially wanted us to engage at a small scale, maybe with 1 or 2 team members. And pretty much the insurance industry, telco industry, and the banking industry that we have engaged with, we have continued our engagement for the last 5-6 years. Right? And our teams are ever growing. Our presence in client sites are ever growing. Right? And at the same time, we've been able to reduce their waste, specifically in certain domains. We have eliminated the paper usage and digitized all their processes. We have been able to introduce artificial intelligence and robotic process automation and even chatbots to reduce their staff members who needs to get engaged with end users. And we have improved the quality of service what our end users are receiving from their clients. And that has ensured that our engagement is getting into more and more complex problems. Things like migrating a core of a world top insurance organization, for me, is a big challenge. And if a organization can have that trust on Accenture, and if they have the confidence that Accenture can support that migration, that is a success that I would love to share with anyone. Right? At the same time, certain telco industries that we work with, been able to move from multiple phases, and now they are moving into this 5G. Right? And we are providing solutions. Our team members are giving enormous contribution to their success stories, and they have pretty much moved into other countries as well with these solutions. Right? And on the other hand, there are a lot of small organizations, individuals who would love to take some services from our clients. Like if someone wants to get insurance detail, say for a bank, if they want to give a lease for a vehicle, they wanted some mechanism to take the data from this insurance organization. Right? So we have created and orchestrated our services layers to the external clients, and we have ensured that our security and data encryption is topmost compared to any other organization, and that has given our clients the possibility to engage with certain other organizations, create packages and do co-selling and add more values to their clients. These are good success stories. If you look at certain clients on that aspect, one is a leading telco operator in Europe that we have engaged with to introduce a financial banking application, mobile application, and another is top insurance organization in the world, and another one is a top telco provider in Asia Pacific region. And in addition to that, there are several local clients. One is a world renowned capital market software solution provider, has engaged with us in the past to provide their solutions.
Thank you very much, Niroshan, Ajit, and Varuna, by enlightening our viewers. And it's pretty much very interesting tech talk and about the technology, what's happening in the insurance industry, and what is the future of insurance industry. With that, we are going to end our session today. Let's meet up with another episode of Ascent Talk. Until such time, stay safe, stay tuned with our channel. Please subscribe and stay tuned. Thank you.